All right, everybody. All right, it's my pleasure to now introduce you to our special guest speaker. In a moment, you're going to hear from Hub partner Nikki Groom. She's the owner of Raised Voices, and she's going to do a 15-minute presentation on website do's and don'ts for authors, including common pitfalls that you should avoid and a simple checklist to increase engagement. You're going to walk away with some clear, actionable takeaways that you can implement right away. Now, after her presentation, during that first networking breakout room and the second one as well, you're going to get a chance to go into a room with her if you choose, where she's going to be offering website hot seats, which means she's providing real-time feedback and answering your questions. So if you've got a website you want to get a little feedback on, this is a place to do that. There's also going to be a dozen other themed breakout rooms to network in if that's not your thing. And if you want more time with Nikki, you can always head over to her Hub profile, which I'll drop into chat. And she is offering a free website evaluation, which will give you some feedback one-on-one on your author website and suggest some ways to do improvement to engage visitors and inspire them into action. Without any further delay, let me now bring to the stage Nikki Groom. Thanks, Nikki, for being here.
Da, da, da. Oh, there I am, spotlighted and everything. Feel like I need a little music. No, seriously, this is an amazing community, and it's so exciting to be here today. Absolutely tickled by underwater basket weaving. I do think it's the future, and can't wait for us all to rank number one in that category. But let me share my screen. I just want to give a very quick intro to Robbie already mentioned, but Raised Voices does. Can you see my screen okay? Um,
We're seeing the
yes.
setup not in presenter mode,
Oh,
but
all
you can
right.
see it.
Well, that's
Try that
let's try
again.
it. Let's try that again. And better?
Brilliant. Yes, perfect.
Fabulous. So I am Nikki Green. My pronouns are she, her. I am the founder and CEO of Raised Voices. And essentially, we help authors and thought leaders like you elevate your author platform. And a big part of that is really figuring out a clear, compelling message so that people understand what it is that you're all about, and then creating a world-class website that works just as hard as you do. So oftentimes people will come to us for the website, and I'm like, oh, no, no, no. That's kind of the pièce de résistance, the cherry on top. That's when everything kind of gets brought to life. But we always like to start with brand positioning. So your audience instantly gets the value that you bring, that you deliver through your book. And then brand messaging. So your big ideas come through clearly and move people into action. And then the website design and development piece. So your platform actually reflects your brilliance. And, you know, I think that writing a best-selling book, it feels amazing, especially when you hit those number one categories or you get tons of reviews. But of course, that's only part of the equation. And many of you who have launched books, are about to launch books, you know that. It is a long journey, it's a long game. And so I do think it's so important to have a digital presence that really shows people what you stand for and makes them want to become champions of you and your work. So that's really what we're in the business of doing for you. Um, this is one of my favorite metaphors, and you may have heard of it before, but especially when it comes to branding and websites, you can't read the label from inside the jar. The truth is, so many of us are way too close to what we do and why we do it to describe it in a way that, again, I'm going to say this a lot, but resonates with our audience. You've lived your story, you've poured yourself into your book, but that often makes it harder and not easier to explain why it matters to someone who's just discovering you for the first time. So that's why working with someone like us, like me and my team, outside the jar can help you see what makes you distinctive and say it in a way that sticks. I know there's a couple of people here from NSA, and we're all about that sticky message, the one that people don't forget, that they carry with them, that they tell other people about. That's really what we're working towards. So, you might think of your website as a place to sell your book, but I really see it as more than just an online bookstore shelf. It truly is your platform. Just as maybe a politician would have a platform, it's where you get to showcase what it is that you stand for, what you're all about. And it is that proof of credibility. It is that 24/7 message that can quite literally build connection while you sleep. It's one of those things internet marketers love to talk about. But that's what your website is doing for you. If someone travels over to it, they get a real true sense of who you are before they have a conversation, before they pick up your book, before they see you speak on stage, if speaking is something that you do as well. Um, in a bookstore, of course, be it online or in person, your book just is sitting on a shelf with potentially hundreds, if not thousands of others. But on your website, that's where you get to take center stage. And so, what I really want to talk about today is how you can take control of that narrative, the experience that people have, and the next step that you want them to take. So, we'll cover that. And of course, all of us are human. Last time I checked, may have a couple of others that crept in here. But that means we're not going to have perfect websites. However, there are some simple mistakes you can avoid that will help elevate your existing site or your future site. So I'm not sharing any of these next common mistakes because I want you to have website shame or think, oh, I suck, or that person's website is so much better than mine. It's totally okay that you are where you are, that maybe you have a website, maybe you don't have a website. It doesn't matter. You're on the journey, and I'm a big fan of incremental improvement. So that's where I want to get you to today. So, mistake number one is that your positioning isn't clear. If I can't immediately tell who you are and why your work matters, I might move on to the next book, the next expert, the next who knows what that caught my eye, Instagram reel or something like that. So you need to tell us right off the bat what you're all about so that we can get on board. A bit more about that in just a sec. Mistake number two, this happens so often, and I totally get why it does, but you're hiding behind your book. So perhaps your book is front and center, but you are nowhere to be found, or I have to kind of dig to find out anything about you. And here's the thing that I really want you to take away is that readers do want to know you. They want to understand something of how you see the world and why you wrote the book in the first place. So we can connect to you and connect to your work. Mistake number three is that your copy is just not working hard enough. You might have beautiful visuals, and I hope you do. Especially maybe a photograph of you, beautiful cover shots of the book. But if the words on the page don't inspire people into action, it's going to be a missed opportunity. Mistake number four is that you're not giving people a reason to stay. Robbie is the absolute genius when it comes to giving people a reason to stay. You just have to step onto his website to see all of the resources and opportunities. It truly is a hub. And so think about that. If you don't have, say, a freebie or a lead magnet, maybe it's the first chapter of your book, something like that, or an invite to opt into your newsletter if you have one. If there's no ongoing value, it's kind of like inviting someone over to your house and then never offering them a seat. So just think about what can I give people that will make them want to stick around? And then number five, it's a really obvious one, I think, but it can be so easily missed. And again, I think here's where we can just give ourselves some grace. If you don't have the endorsements yet, if you don't have testimonials yet, that's okay. When you get them, add them to your site and make sure we can find them here, there, and everywhere. Those are so important in terms of grounding your message, building that reputation. And also, I think there's a big part of, just as today we've all come together as a community, we kind of want to feel a part of a community with those other readers, with the other people who get it, who are also reading your book. We have that natural desire to belong. So as soon as you have that proof, make sure that you feature it prominently. So I am whizzing through here because I'm very excited about the website hot seats. I hope some of you join me. But now that we've covered what's not working, let's just take a beat and talk about what does. And these are the exact things that I personally look for when I evaluate an author's website. So this is some of what you can look forward to if we do a hot seat today or a later date. And I would really think of these as kind of like a strategic tune-up, something you can use to really elevate again what you already have or build stronger from the start. So if you're just starting to think about what your author website might look like. And number one is lead with clarity. Can I instantly tell who you are, what you do, and why it matters to me. It's kind of like threading the needle through those three things: who you are, what you do, and why it matters to me. So, your homepage, as soon as I land on your site, I want it to make it unmistakably clear what your value is, what the value you're delivering is in just a few seconds. So again, don't bury it. Make sure that right above the fold, and what I mean by that is before we have to scroll, make sure that we can see clearly what it is that you're all about. And it may touch on the topic of your book, but I want you to give yourself permission to be seen as the expert and the thought leader that you are. Which again, then we kind of touched on this in the common mistakes. But number two, I want you to show up as you and not just the author of a book. And so what that means is, yes, let us know that you wrote a book, but also I think a website can be really powerful if you do allow it to be that platform. And it does reflect you in terms of your story, your point of view, your way of looking at the world. People don't just buy books, they do buy into the person behind them. So I'm kind of repeating that point from earlier, but it is so important to remember. I don't want you to hide behind your book. And that oftentimes can look like you might have a dedicated about page, but maybe pull some of that at least into the homepage so that you can kind of set the stage in terms of what you're all about with that early positioning statement. And then you can share a little bit more about why you authored this book. One of my favorite questions to ask if I've ever done a fireside chat or an interview with an author is to say, why did you write this book and why now? So tell people that so they can really engage with you, they can better understand your motivations, and they can start to get on board with the change that you're trying to create in the world. Number three, let your words carry weight. So again, that idea of your copy doing the heavy lifting, get it working for you, get it inviting action, creating a sense of urgency, sparking that sense of connection. I want people to understand that your book isn't just something that might be nice to read and page through at your leisure, but actually it's going to maybe potentially be world changing. So let your words carry weight, let them carry power, really speak to what it is that you do so well. And if you struggle with this piece and you're comfortable with AI, and I know different people have different perspectives on it, you could potentially play with it a little bit. Let it be that mirror for your message. Maybe you ask AI to hold space for you to explore why you wrote your book and why now, and then turn that into a bio that really does you justice alongside some of your credentials. Number four, create a reason to stay connected. So again, think about what you can offer that's valuable beyond the book. And it can absolutely build on the book. So it may be a reading guide. You may have an opportunity, especially if you're a speaker inside organizations, you might have an opportunity for some kind of book club with an ERG or something like that. Or you might simply have a newsletter or a way of regularly connecting with people that you want to invite people to join. You might have a guide that builds on some of the things in the book. You might even reference some things in the book that you want to make sure are housed prominently on your site. And again, it's about keeping the conversation going. If the only option is to buy the book, then again, you're missing that chance to continue to build the relationship. And by the way, I just want to say again, I'm whizzing through today. There's so much more that I could say. So I'm hoping I get to do some website hot seats with you. And finally, back it up with proof. So I want to see those endorsements. I want to see those media interviews. I want to see those testimonials that show your message resonates with others. That social proof is imperative. It just really helps us towards a decision. Do I buy the book? Do I not? Do I stay in this person's orbit? Do I not? Do I scroll? Do I not? Social proof builds that trust, and trust is what inspires people to act. So you don't need to tear your whole site down. And again, some of you may not have started yet, but regardless, I just want you to think about making some key intentional shifts that make sure your message is received. People can find their way to the information that validates their choices and ensures that you're remembered, quite frankly. So that's it. I tried to wrap it into 15 minutes and it was quite a rush, but
I feel like everyone who's a professional speaker in here knows that if I had said talk for 3 hours, it would have been less prep than talk for 15 minutes.
yeah. Yeah, I could talk for 3 hours, like blah blah blah, just let
Yeah,
you go.
yeah.
But yeah,
But
but
I
hopefully
love
that
it.
was
I grabbed a
helpful.
screenshot of the dues because I want us to focus on the dues. And
Yeah.
you're also going to automatically be sent into the room. By the way, folks, these are the room topics that you're about to have the choice of going into. I'll just drop these in chat. The rooms are not yet open, so don't get confused. But take a moment and look at the options in the chat to think about where you want to go. Please, no more than 12 in a room. We've got 20 plus people here, but don't all cram into one room because it requires a facilitator then, and I don't want to make anyone fall into that role. We're going to have quite a few experts in these rooms, these hub partners, and maybe even some of our non hub partners who also have expertise. No one's been asked to do any kind of presentations in these rooms. So if you have a lot of expertise on a topic, you can share some, contact info or resource in chat, and those conversations will continue after this session. There's going to be 15 minutes on the clock in each of these two breakout rooms. So one of my recommendation is that hub partners are going to go to whatever breakout room topic aligns with their work the best. Some of them could go in four. Lil could probably go in five. So Lil's got to pick one. And if you want to talk to Lil, you got to see where Lil goes. All right. And now here's the thing: if Lil's hanging out in one space like ghostwriting and no one shows up after the first minute, she's not going to stay there. She's going to wander over to another room. And so think about what your sort of most pressing question is if you're attending this session to get an answer. And don't worry, we'll reset the rooms and you'll have a chance to go again into one of the other rooms. So we're going to have 2 rounds of 15. With that, I'm going to open these rooms and we'll see you all back here. So Katie, your choice, I would say go hang out where you have expertise, and then you can always meet these hub partners. Now that you are Katie's one of our newest hub partners, so she'll have a chance to meet the other hub partners at our private event for hub partners. So I'm gonna open up all these rooms, and Alyssa, for instance, is the attorney that we mentioned earlier. She always starts out in her little room, but won't stay there. So if you have a question, that's a legal question, go there first. We'll see you back here in 15 minutes. All right, so the rooms are open. And so your plan now is to click